What's up everyone? As you know, I like to keep you up to date on all things related to Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4. Well, Jim Starlin was in Puerto Rico over the weekend for Comic-Con, where apparently he mentioned that he visited the set of Avengers 4. And he also apparently let slip that one of his creations is going to make it in the final movie of Phase 3 of the MCU, which of course is Avengers 4. If you are not familiar with who Jim Starlin is, he actually created some of our favorite characters, number one being Thanos. That's right, he created Thanos along with many other characters including Gamora and Drax the Destroyer and more that we're going to be talking about in this video. Before we dive into the video, just a quick reminder about our speaker system giveaway. There is officially 1 week left in the giveaway, so be sure to enter. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel, subscribe to the Stupendous Waves channel, hit the like button and drop a comment below with your favorite superhero. This can be from Marvel, DC, or anywhere else. Okay, so another Jim Starlin character in Avengers 4. Who could this be? What makes the most sense? A huge character that Jim Starlin created is the one and only Adam Warlock. I think a good majority of you know that my favorite character is Thor, but Adam Warlock is an insanely close second. I love him. Unfortunately, the Russo brothers and Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn have stuck to their guns, pun intended, and have said that he will not appear in Avengers 4 and his full introduction to the MCU will be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So, sad news, but it crosses him off the list, so moving on to the next one. Now, there's a few characters that Jim Starlin created that are actually related to Thanos, and that is his grandfather, his father, and his brother. Starting with his grandfather, Kronos. Kronos is an Eternal, and Kevin Feige has already stated that they have been tinkering with the idea of introducing the Eternals in Phase 4 of the MCU. So this could be a way to introduce the Eternals, but I actually think that a better way to introduce the Eternals would be Thanos' father, Alars. Alars is Thanos' father, and he is also an Eternal, and they kind of already made a little note to him in Avengers Infinity War in the Red Skull scene. So he's been mentioned, and let's not forget the fact that they cut out a lot of scenes from Thanos' past in Avengers Infinity War. So they could put some of those scenes back in Avengers 4, because I don't think that this character that Jim Starlin has in Avengers 4 will be a super important role in that current film. I think they're going to introduce this character not to be, a major role in Avengers 4, but to be set up to be a major role in Phase 4 of the MCU. If it could be his father, it could easily be his brother as well, Eros, or Star Fox as he's also known. This would really be easy as well because in the comics, Star Fox actually is one of the Avengers at one point in time. And fun fact, it's actually the Wasp who nicknames him Star Fox. So those are just a few of the characters that Jim Starlin created that could be in the MCU in Avengers 4, but I think it's obvious who we all really want to see, the character that Jim Starlin created, and that is Lady Death. I think a vast majority of fans thought, or at least hoped, that Lady Death would be in Avengers Infinity War, especially after the first Avengers movie post-credit scene where the other is speaking to Thanos and he says to take on the Avengers is to court death. For those of you who do not know, in the comics, Thanos is madly and desperately in love with Lady Death, the actual personage of death. But it never mentioned in Infinity War that his motives for rebalancing the universe were driven by Lady Death. But I think they kind of teased us with this in Infinity War when Thanos and Gamora go to Vormir and they see this floating hooded figure. If you notice Thanos' face when he sees this figure, he looks very confused, but it kind of looks like he's confused because he knows who Lady Death is, but he's confused as to why she's there on Vormir. And then, of course, it turns out to be Red Skull and not Lady Death after all. But I think Lady Death was kind of teased here, which means she could very easily end up in a future MCU movie. I could see in Avengers 4 at the end this scenario. I can see the Avengers getting the Infinity Gauntlet and all the Infinity Stones back from Thanos. And I can also see them undoing his snap, but Thanos being okay with it because he gets Gamora back. So I can see at the end of Avengers 4, everything being fine for the Avengers, everything being fine for Thanos, but then, post-credit scene, Lady Death shows up to greet Thanos and is like, hey, there's more people alive than there are dead. I don't like this. And Thanos is in love with Lady Death, so here he goes again to collect the Infinity Stones. That's honestly what I hope happens, but that's just wishful thinking on my part. So what do you all think about some of these characters potentially showing up in Avengers 4? Are there any other characters you think Jim Starlin could be talking about, or would you really like to see one of the characters enter the MCU that I mentioned in this video? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear who you all hope to see show up in Avengers 4 and possibly the next phase, phase 4 of the MCU. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and if you would like to stay up to date on Avengers 4, Avengers Infinity War, all things Marvel and superhero, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Woof woof.